We are going to finish with money. Till where did we do money?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, you have to start with features of money.
We have to start with features of money. Okay.
Yeah.
We have done forms of money.
Yes,
Finished
ma'am.
till bank money. So what is bank money? Who's going to tell me? Tell me what is bank money?
Ma'am, bank money is the money we deposit in the bank, and it is not in the liquid form.
Okay, so all the term deposits will also come in that? No. We have lot of money deposits. We have FDs there. We have short-term money deposits there, and we have our saving deposits there. So all of that is bank money. All of that is bank money.
Ma'am, all of that is not bank money. There, for example, the savings, certain type of accounts are liquidable assets because we can withdraw the money anytime. Then there are fixed deposits and all, which the bank does not allow to remove like anytime. And third is like checks and all. They are not money because everyone does not accept checks.
Yes, bank money basically includes your demand deposit, on demand deposit. Yes, Ms. Khan, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I
Yes.
have a doubt.
Yes.
Ma'am, it is from elasticity of, no, it is from theory of supply.
Theory of supply. Can we do it tomorrow, Ms. Khan?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it related to bank? Tomorrow I'm going to again take all your doubts, especially the first, second and third chapter. Okay, and I will myself give you a worksheet. We'll solve it in class only. Okay, so tomorrow I'll take whatever doubts you have. Let me just finish with this money so that we finish with this portion, and tomorrow's class will have all the doubts. Okay, clear? Okay, Simar, you were not there in the last class, I think. Did you go through money? Did you read the chapter?
I saw the chapter.
Saw the chapter, read the chapter. You have to read the chapter, right? And then see whether you have understood. If there is something which you have not understood, then you can always come back to me. Okay? Okay? In money, there is nothing much to understand as such. You can actually have a reading and understand it. Okay? What is money? So, we had finished with barter system. We had learned the evolution of money, the stages in which money evolved from the barter system to the metallic money which we used to have, and now what currency and notes we have, right? So we have done that. We have done the definitions of money. We have done the legal definition. We have done the narrow and broad definition, and we have done the functional definition of money, right? All these are clear to you? Right, then we had done the forms of money. In what all forms? Yes, who is raising a hand? Two participants. Who all? One is Simar, one is Muskan. Yes, Simar.
Do we need to do the blue boxes?
Blue boxes, yes. Yes, these blue boxes are something important, or some difference. Like in this, you have the definition of money given in short form in one of the blue boxes. In one, you have the difference between currency and money. So it is very important for you to know what is the difference between currency and money. So what is the difference between currency and money? Yes, Siddhanta is still not joined. Krishna, what is the difference between currency and money? Krishna? Meet and
yes, ma'am.
switch on the video. Yes, Krishna, what is the difference between currency and money?
Ma'am,
currency is like rupees,
Ma'am, can I
dollars,
tell?
euros.
Just wait. Currency is?
Currency is like rupees, dollars,
Okay.
or sterling.
Okay. And what is
Those.
money?
Money is.
Ma'am, can I answer?
Like the money.
Ma'am, can I answer?
We have.
Money is the money we have. So these
Ma'am,
currencies we do not have as money.
Ma'am, but
Huh?
currency.
Ma'am, can I?
Rupees is also currency, so we have rupees.
Rupees is currency, dollar is also currency, and it is money also. So what is the difference between currency and money? Avni, can you tell me the difference between currency and money? No? Okay, Muskan, you tell me.
Ma'am, currency is high-powered money.
Okay.
And money is commonly accepted by everyone.
Even currency is commonly accepted by everyone. So where's the difference?
Ma'am,
Yes, Arya.
Ma'am, it is issued by central bank.
Currency is
that's-
issued by central government. Okay. And what is the most important difference between money and currency? Yes,
Ma'am,
Arya.
Ma'am, Muskan interrupted me.
Okay, say. Muskan, don't interrupt. Yes. Yes, Arya.
Ma'am, was the same answer, the central bank thing. Like
Central
money
bank,
is
okay. Currency is issued by the central bank. Then what? Money is issued by whom?
Ma'am, can I tell?
Yes.
generally accepted by anyone.
Ma'am, currency refers to legal tenderment.
Okay, then what is money?
ma'am,
Yes, Divyata, can you answer? Who
Arya,
said
ma'am.
ma'am just now?
see, in the legal tender money, currency includes paper notes and coins.
Yes.
And money refers to anything which is commonly accepted as a medium of exchange. It can be the paper note, the coins, and even the bank deposits.
Yes. The difference between currency and money is currency is only your paper money and coins, which is a legal tender issued by the central bank. Okay, in case of India's the RBI. Okay, but money will also include the demand deposits, the deposits which you can easily liquidate, for which you can issue checks. Okay, because that also is money with which you can, currency with which you can buy. You can change it into currency, you can use it as a payment for goods and services. The only difference would be currency is legal tender, nobody can refuse money. But in case of money, when you include bank deposit also, people can refuse checks, right? There is no legal foundation on them, they can refuse check. But currency being legal, issued by the central government, nobody can say no to it. Okay, that is the difference between money and currency. So all currency is money, but all money is not currency. Understood? Right. Okay, so we'll start with features of money. Right, the basic, the most important feature of money is general acceptability. Everybody, it should be freely acceptable, right? So that you can exchange it for goods and services, right? And it will be acceptable when it is a legal tender, when it is issued by the central bank. Okay, divisibility, it should be divisible so that you can have, or you can have a facility of small transactions also. That is why you have lower denomination notes also and higher denomination notes. And with bank deposit, you can issue checks of any amount you want. There is no rules and regulations that you cannot issue a check. If you have seen bank checks, sometimes they have 0.05 and 0.02 also. So checks can be issued of any amount. So divisibility portion should be there in money. Okay, durability, that means it should last long. You should be able to store it, right? So this is very important because future transactions are based on money. So the storing of it and last durability of it is a very important feature for money, which was lacking in barter system. In barter system, for perishable goods, you cannot store it for long, right? So future transactions was a very difficult thing in that. Cognizability is it should be easily recognized. That means there should be some distinctive marks there which makes it easy to recognize. Now the currency that you use, you don't have to open the note and see whether it is a 10 rupee note or a 50 rupee note, right? By just seeing the color of the note, you can say that, yeah, I know this is this kind of note. And for all people, everybody, they don't need to open the note and see the denomination that is written. That is why the government issues notes in different colors so that it is easily recognized by people. Okay, then portability is easily transfer. You should be able to easily carry money with you, right? When the metallic coins were used, this was one of the problems with metallic coins. They become heavy, you cannot carry too much of money with you, right? But with paper money, it was easier. And now with bank money coming in and plastic money coming in, it is all the more easier to carry money. Okay, homogeneity, it should be homogeneous. That means various units of money should be homogeneous. It should not happen that 1 rupee in Maharashtra is different from 1 rupee in Gujarat. That should not happen. Okay, dollar, the value of dollar is everywhere the same. in terms of their currency. If you are using dollars for some payment, in terms of Indian rupee, it will be same. It does not differ. Okay, for one something it will differ, and for something else the rate will be different. So it should have homogeneity, okay, and stability. Stability in terms of economic stability. The value of money should be stable, right? We do not have ki today we are saying 100 rupees 100 paisa makes 1 rupee. Tomorrow we are going to say no, now it is 125. It's not that. We have stability, and this stability is also for economy. It is not that every day the ups and downs in terms of other country money we are having. We have those ups and downs depending on the economy, but not that much. So stability in money should also be there, okay, so that future payments are not deferred. You can make future payments easily, right? So these are the features of money. Now we will come to the most important part of it, that is functions of money. What are the main functions of money? Now till now whatever we have discussed, you must have realized कि as a medium of exchange, most important function is it should be a medium of exchange, right? Next is store of value, very important function. It should be able to, we should be able to store it so that future payments can be made, right? Then it is unit, it is one single unit of account. What is the meaning of this? One single unit of account. One single unit of account. Yes, Muskan. Muskan, you raised a hand.
No, ma'am, it was by mistake.
Okay, Arya, you can explain. You
Ma'am,
raised a hand.
Yes, ma'am. It has general acceptable.
No, unit of account. What is unit of account? Okay, one part of acceptability can be there in accounting also. What is accounting? You people are learning accounting also?
For
Those who are doing CS, commercial studies, they are learning accounting. Otherwise also you people know what is basically accounting? Yes,
Yes.
or no? Now suppose, let's say a seller, right? He has different goods in his shop, okay, but the one medium of exchange for him is money. Whether it is wheat, whether it is flour, whether it is a cosmetic, whether it is a juice, whether it is whatever kind of good, the one medium of exchange for it is money, right? It is expressed in terms of money. So accounting means how much he has sold, how much he has bought. That is what accounting is. His credit and debit, right? What has come in and what has gone out. So how is he able to keep that accounting? He cannot keep an accounting like for wheat he will have kgs, for milk he will have liters. He cannot have. These are different units, right? So for them, for him, money is that one unit in which he can express all the things that are available in his shop, right? So that is how it is a unit of account. It is one single unit of account in which the entire economy can be calculated, right? Your GDP is calculated in terms of money, right? What is GDP? The entire production that has happened in a year. Now production of various goods and services, it is so many goods and so many services. But if you can express that in terms of one single something, which for us is money, it is easy for us to make an accounting of it, right? So this is unit of account, right? These are general broad functions of money. Functions of money otherwise has been categorized into three main parts, okay? Its primary functions, its secondary functions, and the third, which is known as contingent functions. So we will see each separately, okay? What are the primary functions? Primary functions are basic functions of money, right? What money is actually used for. The basic function, what it should have. One is your, what is the basic function? Medium of exchange. Second function would be, what would be the second function?
Measure of value.
Yes, right? Because our economy is on that only, onto these things, our utility, we should be able to measure, and a medium of exchange. So these two are primary functions of money, or also known as the basic functions of money. These functions are common in all countries. There is no difference that for India these primary functions will be different and for Canada the primary functions will be different. Money primary functions are same for all the countries. Okay, it is common for all the countries. So as a medium of exchange, it is the most important function, right? This medium of exchange, with the advent of money, it removed the difficulty of the most difficult thing that was in the barter system, was the need of double coincidence of want. What was the need of double coincidence of want in barter system? What was the
That
double?
both of the like if there are two people, both of them need to agree at one thing.
Yes,
Like I
both
want
of
this
their
and the other
needs should
one.
match with each other. If I have wheat to sell and I want potatoes, then the other person should have those potatoes and should be ready to exchange at what terms I am giving. My need could be more than the other person. He may not agree to exchange it at the rate I am giving. So that was a double coincidence or one, which was the most difficult thing in the barter system. So with the advent of money, this difficulty was removed because there is one unit, everything can be expressed in terms of money. Okay, so it is generally and widely accepted. So there, and legal tender cannot be refused by anybody. All sales and purchases can be made through money. So this is the most important and the most basic function of money, that is it acts as a medium of exchange. Okay, the second is measure of value. It is a common measure of value. Just now I gave you an example of a shop, right? For the various items that he has in his shop, this money is the common measure of value for all the things, right? So for measuring the value of a commodity to maintain your accounts, this is the most convenient thing. Yes or no? Right? So accounting is easy for different goods which are measured in different terms. For kgs, meters, quintals, liters, anything measured in any of these terms, your valuation becomes very easy with money, because all of them can be expressed in terms of money. And how is it expressed in terms of money? What is that term called? See, I have written it also and underlined it also. Value of commodity in terms of money is known as price of it. Yes, so please learn this definition. The price is the value of commodity in terms of money. That is how you can think of it, how valuable a thing for you is, right? A rupee, a thing which has 1 rupee as value is not that valuable as a thing which has its price as 100 rupees. So that will be more valuable for you, yes or no? So you can express each and every commodity in terms of its price. Okay, it's a basis of keeping up accounts. I have told you estimating national income. I have already told you your GDP is calculated in terms of money. GDP is the production in the entire year, right? So you cannot have a table which tells you this many kgs of rice and this many kgs of wheat. You will not be able to understand. But when you express it in terms of money, you exactly know how much production has happened and what is the difference between the previous year and the this year. So you can have that difference also, whether our GDP has increased or we are stagnant at the same level or it has decreased. So you can work towards economy in that fashion. Okay, so all goods and services are measured in terms of money and value of commodity is expressed in terms of money, which is known as the price of that commodity. Clear these? Any doubts in these? The primary functions? Now let's come to the secondary functions. Okay, now secondary functions are of three types. That is the standard of deferred payments, store of value, and transfer of value, right? Standard of deferred payments are those payments which are to be made in future, right? You cannot have this thing in the barter system. You cannot have future payments in barter system. Why not?
Ma'am, because the goods are perishable, so we cannot store them for future
Yes.
payment, or there is a
Yes, you cannot express things in terms in the barter system that in future I will give you 5 kgs of rice. One, it is a perishable item. Second, in future, to the person with whom you have said this, he may not require 5 kgs, right? But money is something which has a constant value. Okay, so you can always say, for example, loans. These are future payments. Loans are always future payments. When you take a loan on the basis of interest, it is calculated that every month how much EMI you are going to pay for how many years to cover up that loan. Yes or no? Yes. And it is expressed in terms of money. Now remember, your currency note can change, right? But money is not going to change. Yes or no? Today you may have the 2000 rupees that you have as currency note. Tomorrow they will say it is not a valid currency note. Okay. But the EMI that you are paying of maybe 6000 rupees per month, tomorrow also you are going to pay 6000 rupees only, but in the new currency note. Okay. So money is, it makes it very easy with money coming in that we can have future payments in that, right? So that is deferred payment. That is the meaning of deferred payments. So especially when you are calculating about future investments, future capital, loans, in all these things, money is very helpful. Okay. The second one is store of value, right? You can, in terms of money, store wealth easily, right? In the barter system, storing was a difficult thing. You cannot store wealth for long because it being perishable. But as money, you can store it for future use, right? So you can shift your purchasing power from the present to future. The money that you're keeping in as deposit, as savings in bank, you can use it for future also. Yes or no? Your money in the bank is not dependent on the currency notes that are available or that are prevalent now. Money in bank, if you have 10,000 rupees in bank today, you will have tomorrow also those same 10,000 rupees in the bank, whether your 2000 rupee note is there or not, whether your 2000 has gone and a 10,000 rupees has come into the market. Okay, your money will be the same. You will have it for future also. So you can shift your purchasing power from the present to the future. Is this point clear to you? Is this point clear? From the present to the future, it is not perishable. The storage cost is considerably lower because it is not a perishable item. You can store easily, and nowadays with this amount of banking system that we have, you do not require to keep money in the form of currency at home. You keep it in the bank because it is in the accounting system, right? Acceptable to anyone at any point of time, whether you are making a payment today or you are making a payment 10 years ahead. It is acceptable to everyone. Okay. It enables saving of current income for future use. This I have already explained to you. Current, what income you have, you can have savings from this for your future. Like you have your pension accounts. What do you do in that? The present income you keep saving from the present income for the time when you get retired, and you can have a regular income at that time. Pension is that only, regular income after your retirement. Yes or no? Everybody knows what is pension? Okay. So you can keep saving from the current income for your future expense. Okay. Provides link between present and future. This is the same as I have already explained to you. In the present, if you save, you can use it for future expenditure. Okay. And therefore, this store of value is also known as asset function of money, because it acts as an asset. It acts as a store of wealth for future, and therefore this is also known as the asset function of money. Clear? The store of value point is clear to all of you? Any doubt in this? Krishna, Meet, I never come to know whether you are attending or not because you keep your video switched off.
Mom, I'm attending.
Yes, you are attending. Right. Okay, so the third function, now we come to the third function, that is transfer of value. Right. Now, transfer of value means people can buy anything at any place at any point of time. Yes or no? For example, staying in Maharashtra, you can buy a property in Gujarat, depending on whatever the state laws are. But can you or can you not? So money can be transferred, right? So in this case, whether you give currency notes, whether you give a check to the person from whom you are buying, or it is a bank transfer that you are having, you can easily transfer money from here to anywhere in the world. Okay. So people can buy goods at far off places. When Amazon say you are buying, you are getting things from all over the world to your place, right? Yes or no? So you are transferring money from your account to the person's account, to Amazon account. Okay. You can purchase immovable property at any place, right? Can give surplus income as loan and can earn interest on that because of this transfer of value. Okay, what is loan? But these small people, small money lenders, they give loans, right? Yes or no? Or the banks also giving you loan. It is the surplus money that they have with them that they give as credit or loan. So you can use that money, whatever surplus income you have, give it out as loan and earn interest on that. Yes, with the help of this money only, because money can be transferred from one person to another, and it facilitates buying and selling across all parts of country and also abroad. Whatever transactions, whatever export import you have, that also is based on this exchange value only, right? On transfer value only. In terms of money, it is not a barter system that we are buying oil in exchange of food grain. We are not doing that. We are paying them with money only. Yes, the government of India is transferring money to that country with which it is dealing. Okay, so money, the secondary function, third point, transfer of value, is clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So primary and secondary function are clear to you. Now we come to the contingent functions, right? Contingent functions are those functions of money which help the economic entities to make economic decisions. Now, what are economic entities? What are economic entities?
Consumer,
The consumer and anybody else?
producer.
Producers. The consumers and producers, these are economic entities. So money helps them to make economic decisions. What would be economic decisions?
Ma'am, like
To produce.
How to produce, how much to produce, right? These are economic decisions only. What to use, how much technology to use, how much labor to use, whether it is a labor intensive or it is a capital intensive technique, how much labor to use, how much capital to use, right? The enterprise will calculate his profit. Yes or no? It will all be on the basis of this money only. Yes, everything expressed in terms of money, which is easier for consumers to calculate where, how much spending or how much of what goods should they buy that can maximize their satisfaction. For producer, he is easily able to calculate the cost of production, right? How much factors of production to use, in what combination to use, so that it can maximize his profit. So economic decisions can be easily taken with the help of these money, right? So the first function in this is maximization of utility. Maximization of utility will be when the consumers can realize the utility in when expressed in terms of money. So he can easily take decisions what to buy and how much to buy, what will give him maximum satisfaction. That is the consumer's ultimate end. Yes or no? He buys, why does he buy? To maximize his satisfaction. So he can easily, within the income constraint that he has, he can have all the possible combinations which can help him decide what combination of the goods or services can he have which will maximize his satisfaction. Okay, so maximize satisfaction of consumers by helping purchase of various goods and services. He can estimate the price, and that price he can equate with its utility. Okay, if a something in the market, the price is 5 rupees, but it is not that useful for me, will I go to buy that? So I am equating my utility of that good with its price. Okay, is it clear to you? Which is helping me decide whether I can buy this to have my satisfaction. Is this point clear to you? Any
Yes,
problems
ma'am.
in this? Okay. The second is maximization of profit. Now, maximization of profit, this is for producers and sellers, right? So money helps them to decide. I've explained this point already to you. Money helps them to decide what factors of production and in what combination they should use the factors of production so that they can maximize their profit. So how will they decide it? They will decide it on the basis of wages they are paying, on the basis of rent that they are giving for a building for capital, right? On the basis of these, he is going to calculate his profit. And when he calculates his profit, he will see the various combinations he can use these factors of production, and he can maximize that profit. So money enables him to calculate that. So maximization of profit is another function of another contingent function of money. Clear? Is it clear to you? So helps producers to decide the factors of production to be employed. It helps in calculating his profit by calculating the cost of production of employing various combinations of factor of production. Rate of remuneration expressed in terms of money. What is remuneration? What is remuneration?
Salary.
Yes, the
Salary.
salary, the wages, the rent, the interest that he is paying. That is rate of remuneration. Easily calculate the marginal productivity of factors of production and calculate it against wages to be paid, so that he is easily able to calculate his profit. Right? Marginal productivity will be what? With additional unit of labor, how much additional productivity he can have. Whatever, right? If he is having 1 unit of labor, he increases 1 unit of labor, how much more his productivity can increase. So that is his marginal productivity. So he can calculate that in terms of money, and then he can calculate, so okay, this much is my marginal utility in terms of money, and this much money I have to pay to that extra labor as wages. So is it increasing my profit, or my profit is standing at the same level, or is it decreasing my profit? He can calculate this and take a informed decision. Clear? Point is clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can I go ahead now? The third function is distribution of national income, right? What is national income?
Ma'am, the collective annual income of
The
everyone.
collective annual income. And how do you calculate that?
GDP.
The GDP. And what, how do you calculate your GDP?
Per capita income or something.
No, your GDP means, in lay terms, it means the entire production in the year, right? The entire production of goods and services. That is your GDP. GDP is expressed in terms of money, right? So this GDP that you have in the entire year, this you have to distribute among the various factors of production also. The consumers and the producers, you have to distribute it, right? So money facilitates this in terms of wages, in terms of rent, in terms of interest, salary that you're paying. You're paying it in terms of money. And from where is this money coming? This is coming from the GDP only. That national income only, the government is redistributing it. Okay. So all this is done in terms of money, which facilitates the government to easily distribute the national income among the entire population. Okay. Then it is the last most important function, contingent function is, it is a basis of credit. Credit means your future payments. Credit will involve future payments, yes or no? You're taking
Yes.
something in loan, that will involve future payments. So it is a basis of credit for all the credit instruments, that is checks, drafts, bills of exchange that the government takes out. These bills of exchange, you cannot use these without the existence of money. Okay. How much
Yes, ma'am.
time is left? This time it's not showing. How much time is left? It's not showing the time only.
About
How much
4
time is
minutes.
left? How much?
4 minutes.
About 4
4
minutes.
minutes. Okay. So this is anyways the last topic. So basis of credit for future payments, we have already discussed this. This is the fourth important contingent function. So we have done the contingent functions also, and with this we have finished the chapter money. Okay. I will be giving you a worksheet today. I will be posting a worksheet today. So do the worksheet. There was nothing as such which you don't understand. No difficult question as such. I did not find any out of the box question in this. I don't think there is any out of the box question in this. Okay, so do the worksheet, and if you have a problem, then you can ask me after we discuss the first, second, and third chapter tomorrow. Okay, if we are left with some time, then we will do the discussion. Otherwise, whenever we have the next class, we'll do the discussion then. There are no difficult questions. I don't think there is any difficult question in this. Basically, they are about the missing only. Yes, Emma, you want to ask something?
Will numericals be asked for the upcoming exam?
Numericals as such, so I have not given you the entire formula, but something like percentage change, what percentage change will be there, or this is the percentage change in quantity demanded because of this percentage change in price. So how will be the demand curve? It's a very simple question. Yes or no? Questions like that can come, but not very heavy calculations, not that entire formula. Simple questions based on elasticity. Okay, right? And I don't think I have given you a graph. Yeah, I might have given. I don't remember. So graphs, you should be able to read the graph, right? You don't have to calculate anything, but by looking at the graph, you should be able to take out the inference. Okay, tomorrow I'll give you a 10-15 questions ka mock test. We'll discuss the questions, and if in that you don't understand or anything else you don't understand, you can ask me tomorrow. Okay, anything you want to ask me now, we still have got time, so you can ask if you want to ask.
Ma'am, project
I'll give you after the holidays.
Okay, ma'am.
Right, have your exams, do your exams. By that time I'll also work on the project. What should I give you? And by starting of June I'll give you when we come back.